What's
Hey,
going on,
hey.
everybody? Episode 32.
Yeah.
We're here,
How we doing, Nate?
dude. We're high on life, baby.
Yeah. I in many ways. No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, I told you earlier I was listening to this Ozzy Osbourne album.
hmm
And actually, in one of his songs, one of his songs is called "Civilize the Universe," and one of his lyrics is "I'm high on." It's not like high on life, but high on. No, yeah, it is. He's high on life.
That's
I think that's
awesome.
what, I think that's where we all need to get to.
Absolutely. I
But
completely agree.
right before we started recording, we are talking about the use and theory of different substances.
Yes.
So, if you want to start, Brian, with maybe some of the positive things that you've used or that you've heard about, and the theory
Well,
behind it, because we did just say if God created it, why can't we use it?
yeah, absolutely. Stand by. Can you pause that? I just need to respond to this client real quick.
Oh yeah,
My bad.
no,
Sorry.
it's good, dude. We can just edit it out. Curls are coming in.
Yeah, my hair is long right now. I'm gonna keep it longer. I'm just gonna get it trimmed a little bit. Like I'm just gonna have him just trim this just very little bit. I'm keeping it longer now. I used to always get the fade, and I'm like, yeah, no more.
Yeah, dude. I thought about getting a fade, and I was like, I had a fade for 11 years. I'm good. You know.
Yeah, and I had one for many years, and I'm like, nah, tired of
Well,
that.
actually, that's a good topic because I've heard like in many warrior cultures, but the topic I'm talking about is mostly I think in Native American cultures. Like it sounds funny, but if you have you seen the movie Avatar?
That's funny. You're probably everybody's probably gonna be like, what the hell? I've only seen parts of it. I've never watched the
Okay,
whole thing.
okay. So this is the fun. It's kind of funny because what I'm going with is that since we're talking about more so like spiritual, energetic stuff in this episode, there's a theory that the longer your hair is, and this is based, I think, on Native American culture, like the more connected you are. It's almost like some people believe that your hair is like an antenna.
hmm
I don't know if you've heard that, but uh, in my experience, um, I don't know. It's weird because now I generally keep my hair kind of like this length. I tried to grow it out like 3, 4 months ago, and my hair just gets
hmm
curly when it gets long, and I can't stand it, dude.
mm
And but I do notice a difference, like when I shave my beard, I feel like I don't know, I feel less like me. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah. Like my energy is different. But
Do
I
you think
don't I
it?
don't
Do you think that's more of a like almost like a mask or a facade? You know how they say like a lot of people walk around wearing a mask of somebody else. Do you feel like that like
my
makes you
beard
feel
is a
like
mess.
yeah, you're covering up your
My
because you're
double
want
chin. Yeah, dude.
because you're wanted. No. Um Um, no, like because sometimes men will be like, "Oh, I'm more manly because of my beard or whatever," and I'm like, "Are you really?" Because I don't know.
No, dude, you know, it's funny. I used to think that. And since I got out of the army like 5-ish years ago,
hmm
my beard is I actually like my beard shorter than longer.
Uh-huh.
Like I told my wife, like I want to kind of maybe keep like the more stubbly look because I like it.
Yeah.
I like when I
Yeah.
feel my face and it feels like Velcro. I don't know, it's weird, but
Mm,
but no, dude, I used to think that, but now I'm just like it doesn't matter, dude.
exactly.
Whatever makes you comfortable, you know.
100%. No, that's how I feel completely. That's what I say. Because I've had my facial hair. I've been clean shaved, but I would say I've probably been clean shaved more than not because I just like it. I'm used to it. And it's easy maintenance, and I'm just like, it's good to go.
It's
So,
just like you probably can't really see it in the camera too much, but I have white hair on the sides of my head,
mhm.
and I don't know. I guess I one for males in my family, it's hereditary. Like once we're in our 20s, we start getting white hair for some reason.
Mhm.
Like I have white hair in my chest hair. I have white hair. I picked fucking oh, gotta edit that out. I've picked white nose hairs before, you know?
Yeah,
I'm just like, but
Father Nathaniel.
dude, some people I don't understand. Here's what I don't understand is why people get so bent out of shape with the natural progression of aging, right?
because
Like
because
people that get
because
gray hair and they're like, "Oh, now I look old." Like, yeah,
because
you're old.
society because society sells, right, like all this bullshit, like buy these youth creams and hair dyes, and go get your facelift and get Botox, and because people are trying. I'm like, dude, if you want a natural anti-aging regimen, stop stressing.
Yeah.
Just learn how to meditate and lower like your stress levels, as low as you can possibly get them. And then of course, like eat well and stuff and move your body. But even that, you don't need perfection in. It's like if you live a low stress life, and you move your body regularly and somewhat, I guess, and eat decent but still have stuff you like, man, you'll see it'll be like a fountain of youth. You won't age very quickly. You definitely won't look your chronological age.
Yeah, it's funny cuz I had my son outside earlier playing soccer. And it was like kind of it was just the right temperature to where it wasn't cold or really hot at all.
Hmm.
But it was cold this morning, and I was just wearing like my tank top that I had under my work shirt
Hmm.
and jeans. He's like, "You look like Wolverine. You're jacked." I'm like, "Thanks, kid." you know,
That's hilarious.
that little turd. He always calls me a big back. Have you heard that before?
I've heard the term, yeah. Yeah.
He's like, "You're a big back, Dad." I'm like, "Well, you don't." Yeah, but but no, like it's just like we were talking about working out. When I was telling you about working out the other day, I'm like, I'm not 19 anymore. I can't just go run 5 miles and be okay the next day, you know?
Yeah, you're talking about people aging and you're sitting there speaking of aging. Dude, just don't even think about aging.
Dude, I'm a 90-year-old dude in a 33-year-old body. Okay.
That you are. That you are.
I just want to like, I just
You're
want to
the
sit on my,
oldest
I just want to sit
you're the
on my
oldest
porch.
33-year-old I know, man.
I just want to sit on my porch and smoke a cigar and tell people to get off my lawn, you know?
Jeez, you 33-year-old big back. It's horrible. Oh my God.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, damn. I mean, I don't know how much longer God's going to keep me around. It seems like a long time, but I'm like, can I come home yet? Are we done here? I'm tired.
Right? I feel like I've completed my journey. I think it's time to go.
Yeah. But anyway, what we're going to talk about is
Everything, but
yeah. Since we're talking about natural things, we're going to talk about um, what we were talking about off camera is the use of substances. Not advocating for the use of it, but the interesting reason why some things are legal, some things are kind of like monitored or whatever, or some things are legal, and the effects it has on different people.
yeah. Well, we were touching on alcohol. Obviously we've talked about on here before. Like I don't drink and haven't drank in quite a while. But we were talking about earlier how when we did drink, or at times if you still do, sometimes you feel like it lets that wall down that we built basically from the ego, right? Like, so that protective part of us. I remember after but like we talked about earlier too, I had to be dosed right? So after maybe 2 or 3 drinks, I felt still good, still with it, but like that part of me, that wall, those defenses were gone, right? And then I got into that real easy flow, which I loved. But the problem is the other side of that coin is we were talking about is then you could be 6 or 7 in and be like, wow, night got away with night got away from me. And so that's I had too many of those experiences. So for me, I was like, yeah, it's probably a good idea to really step away from that.
Yeah.
Um, but it can help depending on just like anything, right? How much you're using, how much, how little. Um, so
Well, yeah, we talked about the same thing with like THC. Like I was talking about how uh when I use it, which I haven't used that in a long time, uh like I get out of the army and I went through my little hippie era and I was like, fuck it, dude, because of my wife. She was like, you need to do this. And it was great because my body wasn't in pain for the first time in 11 years.
mm,
And but if I if I use too much, it just made me want to freaking sink into the couch and do nothing. But at the same time, if I use a little, there were those instances where yes, it did help me. I'm kind of a lazy person anyway. Sometimes, so so she'd be like, "Here, use this; it'll help you focus." And I'm like, "It's not helping me focus." She's like, "That's because you actually have to do something." But I told you the story when I was outside talking to somebody, and I had like this sound in my ear, and I was like, "What the hell is that sound?" And I look at the ground, and it's all these little petals twirling around through the wind, and I was like, "Whoa!" I picked that up. What the heck? So I think there's some benefits to it. It's just we're also talking about why, like we talk about you were talking about ayahuasca and like mushrooms and stuff like that, like why some stuff's legal and why some stuff's not, and maybe there's a bigger agenda for that.
yeah, like I told you, we just talked about this off camera. Like alcohol. Alcohol has been legal for a very long time, and um, they've never really. I mean, of course, they had the prohibition and stuff back in the day, but I'm talking about like at any time now where they figured out they can make all this money off of it. There's like, hey, we can keep this going. Plus, it also keeps you dumbed down, obviously, right? Like we said, if if you're using it as a habit, a crutch, something to cover up, your true internal battles, and then of course if you just overuse it in general, it's going to keep you in a lower vibration, right? And so they know if you're in a lower vibration, you're easier to control. So that's kind of the thing I've looked at with alcohol. Plus, alcohol is a poison, like they say. When they've done all these studies on it, even first drink, the poison negatively affects your body, which in turn is going to drop your vibration, right?
Yeah, yeah, dude. It takes like I think even the littlest bit that you drink, it takes. I might be wrong on this. I'm not going to say a number, but it takes literally days for your body to get rid of it
Yeah,
because your body
yeah.
can't process it.
Well, that's the thing. I also heard, like, I remember they did a study and they said, for somebody that parties, like, say on a Saturday night, their body's not reset. So if they have they party hard Saturday night, their body is not actually back to its like better state until I believe it's by Thursday of that following week. And then, like they said, what will most people do, which I did it, I'm guilty of doing that for many years. It's like the weekend comes again. I mean, I had weird schedules, but if I had a traditional schedule, the weekend came again and it was party time again, right? So your body just got back to where it should be, and then you're partying again, right? And so it's like, you can really break yourself down with that stuff. And like I say, like THC, we were talking about that, like you said, I use gummies, usually more uplifting ones, but not often, just once in a while. But when I do, they're already dosed, low dose. So I just take a low dose. And all it really does for me is kind of like we said with the alcohol, just I think if anything, not that I have much of an edge or a wall, I don't believe, but the little bit that might still be there kind of fades away, right? And
Yeah.
so I'm not using it like excessively. It's literally minimal when I do. And it keeps me just at that really chill level state. So,
Well, I think that especially coming from a military background and witnessing different people that have struggled with stuff and like PTSD and traumatic stuff and depression and all that. Like you talk about when we're talking about natural substances, we kind of touched on why why it could be that certain things are not legal in the United States.
mhm.
And I think a part of that has to do with pharmaceutical companies. Because like
Yeah.
there's a oh man, I think it's called I gotta look it up. But there's
They're
a
called they're called the biggest drug dealers in the world.
well, no, the people are advocating for the use of mushrooms. What's it called? Vet Solutions.
Hmm.
So Vet Solutions is ran by or was founded by a former Navy SEAL. Uh, but he was one of the first people, him and his wife, because he was on the Sean Ryan podcast and he was talking about it. And Sean Ryan actually did but they did psilocybin. So I don't know
Yeah,
what I
that's
don't.
psilocybin's the ingredient, active ingredient in mushroom. So
But
that's what.
Veteran Solutions was actually the one that kind of spearheaded trying to get that legalized in the United States for specifically for like special operations veterans because I think his name is Marcus Capone. I don't want to misspeak. I'll have to edit it later, but I watched that interview years ago because it's been a while now. But he was like, I came back and there's so many veterans that are like, I did this psilocybin treatment in like they go to Mexico and it's monitored by a doctor and controlled, and they basically like guide them or like monitor them as they're going through like their little trip, and they're like this one gentleman that kind of founded Veteran Solutions was like, I was back to my normal self. It was as if all the trauma left my body
Hmm.
because it heals your brain too.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's like when you talk about substances, it's like why is it that some are legal and some that actually and the ones that actually are can be helpful if controlled properly, why is that a federal crime?
Yeah, exactly.
It's got to make you think.
Well, because again, we live in a country that's a money system, right? Like everything revolves around that dollar, and they don't care whose lives it affects or takes away to get it. And that's the unfortunate part, because we have people here that could benefit from ayahuasca ceremonies via experienced shaman, or psilocybin ceremonies, via experienced shaman as well. Um, and have so many people healing. What would happen with that though? People wouldn't need pharmaceuticals nowhere near as much. People would wake up to the natural ways of taking care of themselves. Your body's your own physician. They would realize that and not be going to doctors and getting pharmaceuticals and all the bull crap that everybody does. Um, and then pharmaceutical companies would be out of business, and that would just take a trickle effect on people, right? And so it's this whole big ridiculous mess that this country's built. But the good thing is, it's all fucking falling apart. So we're good. We're on the right path.
Yeah, man, it's like don't get me like for some stuff. Well, you know what? Never mind. You know what's ironic is that when you need a doctor, it's when you need a doctor in our current environment, it's already too late because like my grandfather has diabetes, my dad has diabetes. To my knowledge, I don't. But like when you see the results of the system work through people that you know, it's like, huh, you probably wouldn't have diabetes if you didn't eat all this food and have all these health issues. Because what I was going to say before is that there's a place for doctors, right?
Hmm.
But then as I think about it, I'm like, it's just a vicious cycle of, oh, consume this stuff. And then 30 years of consuming the stuff. Now you're obese and overweight and old and your body's breaking down because you're eating shitty stuff and not working out and not taking care of yourself. And then you go to the doctor one day and you're like, oh, you got diabetes and X, Y, and Z. So now you have to be on medication for the rest of your life.
Yep.
It's just a vicious cycle, dude.
100%.
Whereas you could just, if you had the knowledge of nutrition, mind, body, and soul health, you could possibly still have some of these issues, but not nearly as much.
Hmm.
You know, it's like
Absolutely.
it's just like we were talking about in the last episode, where we seek validation externally. We also seek care externally when it all begins from within?
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that we're taught throughout our lives, we're programmed throughout our lives to constantly be looking external, look external for help, look externally for, help, health, validation for your ego, whatever it is. And that's what creates a consumerist mindset, right? And people can needing to consume something out there. Um, when like we talked about, man, like all you really need to do is go within, find that centered peace within, feel and release all these things that you've experienced over your lifetime that just want to come out of you and leave you, which is what something like ayahuasca helps with. But um, let those things release from your body. And then so you do that through silence, through meditation, through mindfulness, and then then you get up and you go for a walk in the sunshine, go walk ground on the beach, go for a jog. If you like to go to the gym, go to the gym. If you like to go hike. You like to do yoga, whatever it is, right? Just get that movement, get the meditation, make sure you drink plenty of fresh water. And then obviously, like, I always tell people with food, and there's so many good foods, and we talked about, you and I talked about this off camera, is experiencing this life, right? So I love eating great food, but I'm also aware of continuously putting a lot of good healthier foods in my body, but that I still enjoy other things, because I like all of it, but I enjoy these other things that probably aren't so good for your body. But it's all in moderation, but I'm able to enjoy it, and still keep in a better state. The other thing, just thinking about just all of it in general, we're talking about like food, everything's mental and everything's a mindset, right? So Dr. Deepak Chopra one time was on, I believe he was on a show or podcast. I think it was a podcast, I think it was a show, and they had done so many studies on the mind, and he showed that even if you're eating like a piece of cake, for instance, if you tell your body that I'm being nourished with this healthy food that I'm eating, you don't focus on what that food is. He goes, your mind will tell the body will naturally distribute where it needs, and in a healthier manner, and you won't gain weight from it, right? Like obviously you still can't do like ridiculous amounts, but he's saying like, a lot of people freak out by just having a couple sweet things or whatever, but he said it's all about the mind state and about what you're putting in your body, right? So it's like, what are you telling yourself? Like, are you feeling guilty when you eat? Because what happens, right? Oh, you eat that donut, and then it's like, oh, I shouldn't eat that donut, and all of a sudden you're feeling bad about it. And I'm like, dude, enjoy the damn donut, and then like, tomorrow you're gonna go move your body. You know,
Dude,
it's
I
very
love
mental.
I love me some Krispy Kreme. All right,
I well,
leave me and my
I'm not
Krispy Kreme alone.
I'm not a Krispy Kreme guy. We have a local guy here in town. Awesome donuts.
Well,
Awesome donuts.
it's funny because yeah, it's all about moderation, and I do think it's all about your mindset.
Hmm?
But like we've talked about in previous episodes, like America has an obesity problem. Part of that is because of the system, but I think part of it is also because we've been programmed and conditioned to be like, "Oh, I'm tired. I'm going to go get fast food, so I don't have to cook dinner," which is a
Yeah.
reasonable. It's a reasonable. Everybody does it. Like it's a reasonable thing, but in the United States, food has become another addiction.
Well, it's also all the crap they put in the food, right? So you think about, you go to even places here, but you go to places in other countries where everything is made fresh and there's no added ingredients, and it's just literally like these really good meals. And they may, even in America, may be like, well, those meals aren't that great for you, but the way they make them all natural, like, yeah, they're still fine. And if you move your body, you wouldn't, you would literally, you could move your body and eat that food on a regular basis and still never like be obese or any of that. Think about all the GMOs and the bullshit that's in the foods now that your body has no clue what to do with. So you wonder why it's just storing up fat, because it's like, well, I'm not really sure what to do with this, and kind of confuses the body, and so it stores it as fat.
Well, that's
So
why.
again, because the food market is also a fucking money game in this country. So
Well, that's why I like fasting.
me too. I love it.
It's like I told you last night, we made breakfast for dinner, and when we make breakfast for dinner, it's usually just all protein:
Hmm.
sausage, bacon, eggs, and I make corned beef and hash. I love corned beef and hash, dude. I love it. Right,
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 cans of it in my cupboard right now. But but
Yeah.
like I notice every time, because I kind of loosely, like now, I used to do it more strictly, but now I kind of more loosely follow intermittent fasting.
Mhm.
But I find it's probably because I know it's because I don't have enough fat. But when I have breakfast for dinner and it's all that protein, the next day I'm starving.
Mhm.
But I kind of like it though, because I know that my body is like not overwhelmed with a bunch of other crap. I don't
Mhm.
know.
Yeah, I get it.
Um, but fasting is a good way to reset your system.
Yeah, no, I love fasting. Extended fast, man, like 48, 72 hours and beyond feels amazing. I haven't gone beyond 72 yet, but I just told myself when you brought that up because I just told myself this past week I was like I'm gonna do a 5-day fast. Just water, black coffee, tea, and that's about it. And the other day I did just under 48 hours. I stopped like a couple hours short, not purposely. It was just whatever. But like yeah, even at that 46 hours, and I felt amazing, amazing. All I had was water and coffee, and it was great.
Well, fasting is proof of the ability of our minds and our bodies to be able to heal itself.
Absolutely.
Like fasting literally gets rid of if you do it for the proper amount of time, it literally cleans out your system.
Well, it gets rid of all the old cells. It allows for all the old cells to flush out. And then I believe it's like right around 68, 69 hours roughly, um, that the immune system regenerates itself. So it's basically you have a brand new immune system. So there's so many benefits to it, right? And then what are the secondary effects? Like your skin looks better, your mind's clear. I mean, there's just so many things with it, right? And so it's like people don't understand like fasting is such a good thing. It's just a mental game because we've been told we need to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner all the time. And I'm like, no, we don't. We really don't. And I and that's coming from a person who still physically trains people and physically trains myself all the time. And I will literally be on a fast like that and do a great workout and feel 100%.
Yeah,
So,
it's usually. I mean, everybody's a little bit different, but for me, it's usually like the first 12 hours is the worst for me.
well,
It's like that.
that's just the weenie in you, Prince 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 Nate cannot be hungry.
Yeah, no, I mean when everyone around you is eating and you're not, and you're like, oh no, I can smell
Yeah.
your chips across the house.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I thankfully I got past that years ago from doing it so often. So it's just like if people are eating around me, they're like, "Sure, you don't mind?" I'm like, "I don't care. Like I'm on my fast. I'm good."
But no, I feel good after those first 12 hours. But you know what else is I've also tried carnivore diet, but for me my body feels better when I don't eat as much pasta and carbs and stuff.
Hmm.
I don't know, I just feel lighter.
Yeah. Well, another thing I've done more vegan like eating, and honestly, when I have done that, my mind feels pretty clear. Definitely like still stay lean. You don't have as much inflammation, so you actually feel really. I felt really good on it, but I'm just when I eat vegan, it's not. I just don't. That's not. I'm not like permanently vegan. You know what I mean? Because I go back to like wanting some meats and stuff sometimes.
Dude, we have
Um,
canines for a reason, okay?
oh, Nate, Mr. Meat and Potatoes over here. Oh,
Dude,
that's right. You don't like the carb. You don't like the carb.
no, like I've never, I'll be honest, I've never tried the vegan thing.
I
Like,
I always I always recommend people just try it so they can see how their body feels and how their mind feels. Um, I do recognize sometimes like that maybe I lose a little bit of strength, but not much. It's not like a massive difference. And so
well,
I think for me it's like I feel great on it. So,
that's what I was gonna say is okay, I've never done the vegan thing on purpose. It's been like we'll have days where we won't have meat at all
mm,
for meals. But yeah, like if I don't there's no way I can say this without sounding gay. If I don't eat meat, if I, if I don't eat meat, my body literally feels weaker.
Well, you know, you won't go without doing that, there, young chap.
But
Oh
no, like
man.
it's the same. I mean, getting back to the substance thing, like when like THC can make you want to eat.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of the same thing with what if you combine that with food and you're overusing it, it's very easy to overindulge.
No, of course. But again, that's like we say, you know, these things were put here naturally for a purpose, but um it's humans' ability to not overuse things, right? Like we have these things that are here. It's just we need to get to a space inside ourselves where we're like, okay, the thing's a benefit. And yeah, I might feel, you know, pretty decent on it, but I need to know when to say this is enough, right? As long as you can regulate, it's good. Just like good food. You can eat great food. You know, you get a dozen donuts, have one, maybe two. Don't eat a dozen and then go get another. You know what I
Brother,
mean? But
brother, just like that the Ozzy song I sent you. I don't want to stop, baby. That's me. I don't know what I'm doing.
oh,
I don't want to stop.
oh, I've been there. I've been there. But you know, that's a thing where it's like I don't know, you know, I don't want to stop, and then the next day you're like, shit, I should have stopped. You know, what's all the dumb things I did? So yeah.
Yeah, one of the first times I think I don't know, oh man, it might have been the first day. I think the first day I ever tried THC, dude, I was like, whoa, it was completely new to me. It wasn't even real stuff, it was the vape thing.
Mm.
And I was like, I ate so much food, I threw up.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
But what we were talking about before is what I found out a couple years ago is that there's actually neurons in your stomach too,
Yeah.
which communicates with your brain. So you
Yep.
have like neurons. So it's just interesting to think about this stuff and be like, what's the perfect balance? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. You got to figure it out, right? I mean, something that's going to allow you to, I guess, enjoy, and for the substances we talk about shifting a little bit, but you know, again, just enjoy them, but know when to say that's enough.
Yeah, because actually something that I've been thinking about this whole time as we've been talking is it just keeps coming back to me is to have a sound mind,
Hmm.
right? So like if you're using certain things like THC or alcohol or whatever, I think maybe a healthy or healthier uh sort of mantra to live by is make sure you're of sound mind. Like you can use
Hmm.
it, but make sure you're of sound mind because if you're of sound mind, everything's going to work out great. But once you start to kind of because with substances, and I've been there plenty of times where you lose yourself a little bit and you're like, oh shit.
Hmm.
Like you're saying the next day, you're like, oh no.
Yeah, what I do?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
But I
like you
think
said, like you said, be of sound mind. I think the thing is what I would say to that is don't use it to numb, right? Don't use it to mask what you really need to feel. Let yourself feel when you have emotions that need to come up. Sit in meditation, let them come through. Um, Definitely just don't use them to try to stuff down, or hide, or mask anything that needs to be released from the body and the mind. Um, but like you said, if you have a sound mind, one thing I've realized is when as you know, as I've found my peace inside, if I use something, it's not like I need it. I don't feel like I need it. I'm not using it because I feel down in any way. And so I'm low dosing and just really enjoying as opposed to needing it to cover something up because I feel fine. Right.